Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, Witcher fans. Welcome to our Witcher 3 Wild Hunt gameplay preview. I am Dan Webb and I'm joined by Mr. Richard Walker.
Hello there.
Hi. So basically, rather than our usual kind of quick looks and stuff like that, we went to play The Witcher 3 recently. We played the first 3 hours or so and then a little bit more in the middle of the game. So we've taken the recent B-roll and we're just going to talk for 10 minutes over this B-roll, this lovely, beautiful B-roll.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
Look at him go. It's like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. So basically we ventured into the Northern Kingdoms recently with Geralt, and obviously The Witcher 3 takes place after The Witcher 2 and in the subsequent kind of months, years. I have no idea. I don't think there's any specific time frame on it. Basically, the Nilfgaardian Empire, they've started to take more of a grasp of the region, and also the Wild Hunt are back.
Right.
The Wild Hunt were kind of hinted to and talked about in The Witcher 1 and The Witcher 2.
Right.
They've been mentioned in some of the books, but they feature pretty heavily in this.
In The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt?
Yes, it makes a lot of sense, right?
It does make sense, yeah.
So basically, what happens in the first 3 hours of the game is it starts off with you on a hill with your mentor, and then it starts off, and then it takes you into a flashback. And in that flashback, you learn about his relationship with Ciri, who's the new playable character.
Yes.
She's not playable in the same kind of way that Geralt is. There's no leveling up. It's just purely for story and narrative purposes.
Right, okay.
So yeah, you meet his protege Ciri, his love interest, one of his mistresses at the time, Yennefer. And then as you're training in the yard, shit hits the fan, the Wild Hunt drop in, and then you wake up and you're in the present.
Okay. Sounds cool.
Yeah, basically what happens then is you have to go searching for Yennefer and for Ciri. So you're going around, you're asking people, you're doing favours for people, you're being a witcher.
Okay.
You're monster hunting, you're going to bounty boards like this, you're gathering the boards and stuff like that, you're taking that for little side missions and stuff, you're doing quests for people, you are basically just, doing quests and doing what Witcher's doing. That's earn money.
Right.
And that's earn money by killing stuff.
Yeah.
Like big monsters.
As you do. Yeah.
Yeah, so one of the big story beats in this first, they call it the prologue act.
Yeah.
Which is huge. Like, it's in terms of size, the environment is massive.
Right.
So I think the hinterlands kind of size.
Okay.
Just
pretty
the
big then.
Yeah, it might actually be bigger.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's this beardy bloke then?
So this is just like, we didn't actually encounter this guy in our playthrough because it was more of a, here's the prologue, you do whatever you want.
Okay.
The main path in the prologue is that you have to get information on Yennefer.
Yeah.
And to get information on Yennefer, you basically have to take down a griffin.
Right.
So what the next scene we're going to see after this is the first time we meet the griffin, and then for the rest of the act, then you're getting information about the griffin.
Yeah.
You're trying to get information on Yennefer, and this one guy goes, we'll give you the information on where she is if you take down this griffin. So it's all like monster hunting.
Yeah.
But we actually ventured a lot further off the beaten path than we were allowed to, obviously, but I don't know anybody else that went the way that we went. We ended up in this little village.
Right.
And we were talking to the people, and the one person was complaining about there was a water shortage. And then they were like, they can't use the well anymore because it's now haunted. And this actually, just going back to this actually gives you a look at the size of the prologue.
This is just the prologue.
Yeah, this is because each region, it has this big map, and then you zoom in and stuff like that.
Jeez, I guess that gives you an idea of the sense of scale we're looking at here.
I didn't think it was going to be that big. They said 35 times bigger than The Witcher 2, didn't they? Right.
Right.
And then I was like, yeah, whatever, that means nothing. And then when you actually, because we jumped ahead to later on in the game, in the middle, I think it's smack bang in the middle of the game, and we had the chance to have a look at the map, and it was ridiculous. It was genuinely, there's like 30 areas like that.
Right.
It's a slight exaggeration, but there are lots of areas like that.
Okay, we've been jumped forward a bit here, right?
Yeah, so this is the Griffin sequence that I was talking about.
Okay.
So, there he is, look.
Did you get to have a chat with him?
Just eating a horse. I don't think the Witcher speaks Griffin. Nice slap of the ass then of the horse, and then he goes off.
So, how do you get this guy down? Surely you've got to throw spells at him or arrows or something.
Well, so like most of the monsters in it, there's various things that you have to do to be able to capture them, be able to fight them, be able to get them into one area. So with this one, you have to gather things that attract them. I do believe it's called buckthorn.
Okay.
And it's something that you get from under the bottom of the ocean or the sea. So you swim down, you cut it, come up.
It's like griffin catnip.
Yeah, you basically...
Yeah.
It's so potent, the smell, that it attracts the griffin.
Okay.
And then when it's down, obviously you have to injure it, and it's down, and there's traps and stuff, so it's multifaceted. There's various different things you need to do.
I was going to say, you can't attract him with food, you just took like a donkey or a horse or something for himself just now.
So it needs to be really potent so that it kind of owns in on what you've got.
Okay, so you're just galloping over this bridge into the next area. This is hunting the griffin still, is it?
Yeah, so White Orchard is actually one of the little towns, and White Orchard is the one where you go for information very early on in the game. You speak to Bran's cousin in here, and you can actually play a little Hearthstone game in this little inn.
That's nice. I noticed there's a lot of geese running around.
So this is right actually at the end of the prologue sequence, effectively.
Yeah.
There's a lot of animosity. People don't like witches, so this actually turns into a bit of a brawl.
Okay.
Well, no, actually it doesn't. From there, you then go to the fort where you meet Mr. Frenchie.
Okay. Mr. Frenchie.
And then he's the one that's like, kill the griffin. I'll tell you where Yennefer is.
Okay.
So the Witchy uses his way to get in. But yeah, going back to something I was saying earlier on about the beaten path. I ventured into this little town, spoke to somebody about the well, and they basically said that this well was haunted.
Yeah.
So I went to this well, and I found out it was haunted by something called a noon wraith. And in order to get the noon wraith out, I had to do these various things around the environment. So I had to explore the cabins around it, find out the story. Then I had to pull a skeleton out the bottom of the well, and then I had to jump into the well to get a bracelet so I could have something that could ground her in this world.
Right.
And then when I grounded her in this world, I could then fight her.
Is this the kind of work a plumber could do?
Well, yeah, well, Mario.
Yeah, get Mario down there.
No, so this little mentor thing, so it's all this cool build-up, and then you have this amazing little fight with this noon wraith. Okay. You actually see it after the B-roll, which is about 10-11 minutes, you see... one of the earlier trailers, and it's this bride without a jaw and this big tongue. It's vile. So yeah, basically what happens is then you fight that, but it's not a matter of just wading with a sword and then rolling and wading. There are certain little strategies that you have to learn and do on the fly to be able to beat them. Things like there's a spell that you've got. I don't want to mispronounce it. I do believe it's called. It's not Axie. It's called Yerden or Arden.
Are these are spells from the previous games?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So this one was like it was kind of you put a circle out and it was more of a trap spell.
Okay.
And it turned this wraith into kind of more of a corporeal form,
right?
Where your damage
so
is
you
actually
can hit them.
Yeah. And then when they suffer enough damage, because they're quite, you've only got to take a couple of hits and your health's really down.
Okay.
So once you've taken a couple of hits. And she's taken a couple of hits, then she'll disappear, and she'll send out these 3 kind of decoys.
Right.
And you have to take the decoys down really quickly, because if not, she's regaining health in that time. So it's kind of this balance of tactics, timing, and just it's tactics and timing and strategy kind of thing.
Can't just go wading in.
Yeah, and so you've got some cool little dragon monsters here. In the B-roll that we're seeing. We never accounted these either. I mean, this is how much they're trying to... Because we weren't allowed to capture. They just provided B-roll of what we could do during the prologue. But when you're given... You see the size of the world earlier on. When you're given free reign to do whatever you want...
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, a lot, and people are going to be seeing different things. But this is your crossbow, and this is the new crossbow.
Cool.
You didn't have this in the last one. It makes such a difference in combat as well, because... it's not just kind of close quarters with your swords. You can drop back, you can throw some spells, you can keep them at a bit of a distance.
And we can go for a swim.
Yeah, and obviously you can go for a swim, and then they can come for a swim with you.
Oh, wow.
You can fight them in the water. So this is the last sequence of the B-roll.
Some sexy time.
Some sexy time.
Yeah.
He's just being bathed, you know. Geralt is a bit of a ladies' man. But yeah, all in all, I mean, we played the first 3.5, 4-ish hours overall. It was good. I mean, I called it in our preview, which you can find on Xbox Achievements, PlayStation now. I called it an unpolished gem.
Okay.
The horse traversal isn't great at the moment. There's frame rate issues, there's clipping issues.
Yeah.
It's not ideal at the moment, but I mean, this is why they took 3 months.
It's not out till June, right?
Exactly.
So it's January now. So
is it May, right?
Time.
May.
Or May. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Batman's
you're right.
June.
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
That is pretty much our gameplay preview of The Witcher 3. I hope that it's given people a bit of an insight into what you will be doing in May. But it's all about monster hunting, and if they can spend the next 3 months just getting the experience down, getting rid of all the bugs, getting rid of all the glitches, perfecting the horse traversal, because it's great when you're on a horse, you can use a sword and shit. It's brilliant.
Okay.
But all they need to do is pretty much smooth out the experience.
Well, CD Projekt, they know this stuff, right?
Well, this is why they delayed it 3 months, right?
Absolutely. Awesome.
So yeah, that was our quick look, our gameplay preview of The Witcher 3, and that will be out in the middle of May.
May 19th.
May 19th. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Walker.
No problem.
And we'll see you soon. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.
Thanks, bye.
Bye.
Once we were many. Now we are few. Hunters, killers of the world's filth. Witchers, the ultimate killing machines. Among us, a legend. The one they call Geralt of Rivia, the White Wolf.
We meet again, Witcher.
Your Imperial Majesty.
She's returned, Geralt. After all these years.
Are you sure it's her?
Yes. And she's in danger. Witnesses claim the Wild Hunt follows her. You must find her.
And when I do, what then?
I shall give her what she deserves.
White Wolf, at last. I come for her of the prophecy. Every decision you make will bring devastation. Each choice will lead to a greater evil.